Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm here to give you guys my Fear the Walking Dead Season 3, Episode 3 review. And this episode is called TEOTWAWKI. I don't think TEOTWAWKI. I don't think that's how you say that at all, but it's not really a real word. It's more of an acronym, and it stands for the end of the world as we know it. But I tried saying the word, and I failed miserably, but I guess it is what it is. Um, and this episode aired on, at least from what it says on Wikipedia, June 11th, 2017. And I'm just going to get right into this episode. I thought this episode was really good. This episode, you could probably make the argument, though, it was probably more of a plot device to set up future episodes. The Clark family was transitioning um, into their new community, Jaw Ranch, and it set up a storyline for Strand in the future, which I actually liked. So I still thought this episode did what it needed to do, but was still a really good episode. So let's just get to reviewing this episode. Um, I'm just gonna kind of review it the way I normally do, where I talk about each storyline all at once, just because of the fact that that's just the way I like to structure it. I think it's working, so I'm gonna keep doing it that way. So I'm just gonna start off by talking about when the members of Jaw Ranch are having a memorial for Charlene after her passing. Her mother's telling her the stories that she had, and Madison introduces herself to the community, and talks about how her husband passed away, and um, then the community pretty much wants something done about um, the group that attacked the helicopter that Jake was in. But um, Jake said that they're gonna do everything they possibly can to help it, and you could kind of see, like I mentioned before, that the Clark family. It's taken time for the community to for them to transition into the community. The community really isn't liking them very much, and um, somebody calls Alicia a freeloader, which I thought was a nice line. And Gretchen invites Alicia to a prayer to a prayer study, or what do they call it? I forget what they call it, but pretty much um, a religious study. And originally Alicia's gonna say no, but Madison wants her to go because she wants her to transition into the community. So Alicia lies and says she's Jewish, which I thought was funny. Um, and then Nick is talking to Luciana, and Luciana doesn't want to be there anymore because of what these people did to her people. And when they get released from here, they want to leave. And Nick, um, just wants everybody to be in a safe community, and he wishes that he had killed. And he feels like he let Luciano and her people down when she took them to that community where Troy ended up murdering all their people. Um, and he wanted everybody to be safe, and he thought that he should have killed Troy. And Luciana says then they wouldn't have been safe. So I liked that scene a lot. I thought it was nice, and I did like how it transitioned right afterwards to Madison talking to Nick, and we find out that Troy's just laying in Nick's bed. And I kind of like this scene a lot. Troy reveals that he didn't want Nick to be here. He just wanted Madison here, and he's trying to get to know Madison a little bit. And um, Troy says that um, all he had pretty much was the um, I forget the name of the community. I forget the name of it. It was Jaw Ranch, and um, he really wasn't very good with schoolwork because she asked what Madison did for work, and she said she was a guidance counselor. And he pretty much says that he didn't want Nick to be here. He chose Madison to be there, but he didn't want Nick because he's not going to like this community. And Madison says that Nick's um comes with the package, total package, and that she's going to make Nick learn to like this place. And then it kind of cuts to everybody doing their own storyline, so I'm just going to kind of break everything up separately. I'm going to talk about. Actually, no, it doesn't actually. I forgot a scene. So, Nick, Alicia, and Madison are having a fight whether they want to stay at the community or not. Um, and and Nick talks about how he's planning something, and Alicia's like, "What are you gonna do? Kill them?" Um, and Nick's then questioning, "What should I do if Luciana wants to leave?" And Madison says that Nick would have to make a decision between Luciana and his family, which I hope that kind of happens, but we'll have to wait and see. And then it separates into its own storylines. Alicia and Nick have a conversation um, talking about how Madison wasn't the one to say what she said, um, but it's not really a good time now to have a good conscience. And Nick wants to know if if Alicia wants to stay in the community. And Alicia says that all we're doing is just living in hell. Out there, it's just more chaotic. Here, it's just biding our time. And then she walks away to go be with Gretchen and her friends. So I kind of like that line that Alicia had. And then it separates into their own storylines. So I'll just talk about the Alicia one first, just because it was all types of weird. Now, obviously, um, there was no religious study they were gonna have really. What ends up happening is they go into like this dark tunnel room, and that's like hidden underground, I guess, and they get high and drink a lot of alcohol, and there's a twist of what happened. Um, they've kept one of the infected alive. It ended up being Jeff, but it's not just Jeff. It's um, his head reanimated, and anytime he makes some sort of snarling noise, um, they're like pretending to communicate with it. And Alicia kind of gives them information that she shouldn't trust Troy, that and information about her past life and what she's done. Um, and they kind of think Alicia's a little bit messed up. And then when they're walking back, Jake's kind of like, "So where do you where so how was your religious study?" And they kind of say that like a reference to having wine, and it was actually pretty funny. And then Madison goes and goes and wants um, Jeremiah to do something about Jake and to make them more well liked in the community. And Jeremiah says that um, Jeremiah says that I'm sorry, I just lost my train of thought. Jeremiah says that only Madison can really make themselves well liked, and you have to learn to live in shit to really appreciate your survival techniques. And then she wants Madison to learn how to survive. Um, so I'll just say this too. Later on, Jake goes to talk to Troy and tells him to stay away from the Clark family. Um, because when Jeremiah dies, they're the ones that are going to have to leave this place, and he wants to believe that Troy had some good in him. Um, and then Madison goes to watch videotapes that Jeremiah had made because he was prepared for the end of the world, and that's where the acronym comes from. In the beginning of the episode, it shows a videotape advertisement of him talking about how to live in this place, and he sold these VHS tapes. I'm assuming they probably didn't sell very well because he still has them, and they probably thought he was crazy. Um, and what ends up happening is she watches an outtake of it, and we found out that his ex-wife, who was Troy's mother, was an alcoholic, and we find out that she died due to alcohol. And Troy did everything he could to try to take care of her, but she hated him every day for it. So that kind of explains why Troy's kind of so messed up. he also found out that Madison's father used to be an alcoholic, and he died the same way, I should have said. And Madison and Jeremiah have a moment outside where they talk about things that they would do for kids. And I kind of like this because it's kind of like they were both talking about Nick and Troy, how they both have their issues, but they were willing to do anything for them. Um, and Jeremiah reveals the reason that he never gives up on Troy is because before the zombie apocalypse, Troy didn't feel like he had a purpose. He felt like he was just kind of going through the motions in life. But after the zombie apocalypse, it gave him something to fight for and gave him some type of purpose. So I kind of like that. And then later on in the episode, um, Troy takes Nick and a group of other people into some type of hunting mission, and what ends up happening is Nick tackles Troy to the ground and threatens to kill him. But Troy wants him to knows how long it takes for him to get reanimated and wants Nick to mark it down for science. And Nick ends up not killing him, and then Nick gets into like this sadistic laugh. Um, and I guess Nick and Troy kind of realize that they end up having something in common. So I actually like that scene. And then later on, everybody kind of comes back together, and Jeremiah reveals that one of their outposts had been killed, and offers Troy to go lead a group to go handle the situation, and as some volunteers volunteer to go with them. And Madison's one of the people that volunteers, and I kind of like how she ended up sitting next to Troy and not next to her kids. So that kind of shows that she's willing to give Troy a chance, and I liked it. Um, so I liked the storyline of the Clark family transitioning into the community. I'm not gonna look up into hold on, I got it right here. Into Broke Jaw Ranch, and I like the videotapes that Jeremiah made of how to live in this community. Alicia transitioning, I just thought it was really well done. But that's not all that I liked in this episode. So then what ends up happening is Strand goes pretty much is driving away from the hotel, and he drives to this guy Dante's house. And we find out his name is um, I have his name right here. It's probably going to take me a little bit to find it. His name. So he goes to Gonzales, the Gonzales Dam, and meets up with his old friend Dante Esquivel. I don't know if that's how you say his last name, but I probably will never say it again in my life, so I'm not gonna learn. But Dante, yeah, he reveals. Um, we find out that they used to know each other because they were business partners, and he was gonna buy his land off him. And pretty much what happens is Dante um, has all this water, and he gives it to people for exchange of something, not money, because that means nothing in the zombie apocalypse. Um, and later on in the episode, he threatens to throw somebody um, off of the dam onto like a stack of the infected, and he ends up doing just that, and they get eaten. And he threatens to throw Strand off of there because he thinks Strand's there to steal his water since he's stolen from Thomas, his old partner. Um, but Strand offers to help protect his water and pretty much be a servant to Dante, and Dante agrees, and he ends up getting locked into a cell and kept prisoner. But who makes his return? None other than Daniel. And he says, "I always told you that I was watching over you like a guardian angel." And that's how the episode ends. So I thought that was awesome. The return of Daniel. I thought that was an awesome way to end off the episode. I really enjoyed that. Um, and it intrigues me to want to watch more. I thought Daniel was good as dead. I don't know how he survived um, getting burnt alive in this mid-season finale of season 2, but maybe we'll find that out. But overall, I gotta say I enjoyed that part of the episode. Daniel being brought back was kind of a nice hook to make people want to tune into the next episode, and it was just a really cool, happy ending because we haven't really had a lot of have, it's kind of nice sometimes in these zombie apocalyptic shows to have a happy ending because you don't really get those that much when they happen. So when they happen, you gotta kind of learn to accept it. Um, and I like what they did here. I thought it was um, really good. And this episode I thought was really good. I thought it really did a good job of showing the Clark's transition into the community. We had the return of a character, and I'm really excited to see where this season goes going forward. So if I had to rate this episode, I'm gonna give it a B. Not quite a B plus, just because it just wasn't a B plus episode. I don't really need to give a reason. Um, but it was really good though. I thought it was really good. I'm gonna give it a solid B, and that's pretty much the end of this video. Um, please make sure you guys leave your thoughts on what you guys thought of this episode, and make sure you guys like, comment, and share this videos so people will see it. And make sure you guys subscribe to this channel for more content and click on the bell so that way every time I upload a video, you guys will get the notifications for it. Make sure you guys do the same thing for my CM Brothers YouTube channel. And that's pretty much it, guys. Talk to you later.